Outside Tracker.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
Hey guys, Michael J. Crawford, the Anti-Trekker here. So, before I say anything else, heavy spoiler warnings. We're going to be talking about the first 2 episodes of Discovery on this live stream. So, if you have not seen Discovery Season 3, Episodes 1 and 2, and you don't like spoilers, I would recommend not watching this live stream. That being said, I know that, you know, generally speaking, most people don't care about that kind of thing. If you're going to watch it, you probably already watched it. Otherwise, you probably don't really care about the spoiler things. And I just want to throw that out there to be fair, because, well, there might be 1 or 2 of you that haven't seen it and are genuinely curious about how the season is going. So, let me say this. This season so far has been very unique among the Discovery seasons. It definitely has a different feel for it overall. And there are some things that it has going in a positive direction. The problem that I run into it, and this is something that I'm trying to figure out the best way to articulate for my official review of it. The biggest problem that this episode has is, honestly, the fact that, and Olivia, thank you, puts $5 in.
Vocabulary does not mean you're scary. It means you have a thesaurus. Captain Giorgio, best line in the episode.
That was, I actually did like that line. I also like when they had their most effective use of the F-bomb in Discovery thus far by not using it. But I thought that was actually a well-timed scene as well. So here's my problem. The best thing about this episode, honestly, just as far as getting to know the crew, understanding the stakes, dealing with the situation, was probably one of the best episodes of Discovery overall. The biggest problem was that one of the best things about this episode is that Michael Burnham was hardly in it. And that highlights the problem of the first 2 seasons, where they kept trying to make Michael Burnham save the day all the time, and that kind of denigrates everybody else. Like the fact that Stamets was working with Jet Reno and Dr. Culver to try and get the systems online so they could save the ship and all this stuff, and then Stamets was finally going to save the day and things are going well, but oh no, it's not quite working, and then of course Michael Burnham has to show up at the last second and save them all. That moment really, really pissed me off, because up to that point, up to the point at the end of episode 2, when Michael Burnham saves them, I was really enjoying the fact that Michael Burnham was not saving everybody. And then they have Michael Burnham save them. And and on top of that, they yes, I know, Far From Home, yeah, in this episode, Spider-Man's identity was found out. Indeed, very true. Didn't know J. Jonah Jameson was a blogger now, did you? So I liked everything up till the very end of this episode overall. I actually really enjoyed it. And then that kind of, honestly, I just wanted to punch Michael Burnham in the face when her face is on the view, and it's like you couldn't see it a mile away when it was about to happen, when her face pops up on the view screen and she's like, "I've found you." Like, yes, it's all about me, everybody. It's me. I'm the hero. And in fact, the fact that Georgiou is pining over Michael Burnham through half of this episode as well. And it's like, seriously, I don't know what it is with the writers and everybody having a massive boner for Michael Burnham all the time, but they've got to get past this, because honestly, in season 2, the moments that shined was when Spock put Michael Burnham in her place. In this season so far, in the first 2 episodes, the first episode, I liked that Michael Burnham was a fish out of water, that she didn't have the answer to everything. And in the second episode, I liked everything that did not involve her, which was about 99% of the episode. And that was actually making it a really solid episode until that last moment. And that is, you know, I'm trying to be as fair and reasonable as I can with this show, but it's like they really genuinely don't understand that it should not always be about Michael Burnham. The writers can't wrap their heads around it. So I'm hoping that we see better development in future episodes, but we shall see. So springtime is in the house. Good to see you. Charles says, how's the episode? Honestly, like I said, if it wasn't for that last shot of Michael Burnham's face, I would probably give the episode maybe a 6.5, even a 7. It was pretty darn solid up until that last scene. And Donnie says, hello, Michael and all. Hope everyone's okay. I certainly hope so as well, Donnie. Hope you are doing well. And there's Thomas about hating that Spider-Man's secret identity was found out in this episode. That's true. Charles says, because Mary Sue. Yeah, but you know, it really, I don't understand why, because there are parts of it where it feels like the writers get it. You know, that we don't want to see Michael Burnham on screen all the time. And this episode, like I said, the fact that they had the balls have an entire episode sans Michael Burnham, except for the very last scene in the episode, I thought was actually good. It's just that last scene was like a kick in the crotch at the end of all that, because it's like why couldn't the Discovery get out on its own? Why did they have to get rescued for by Michael Burnham? Bird Praise. My name is Gene. Forgot already. Yeah, and I you know what? I know a lot of people are hating on Jet Reno. I was watching some of the other people talking about this episode. I did not hate Jet Reno in this one. I think her one-liners hit better than last season. So, and I kind of like her adversarial relationship with Stamets as it's developing. And in fact, like I said, almost everything in this episode up until that last shot was, I thought, pretty solid. Donnie says, respectfully, I love the ending of the Far From Home episode of Discovery. I love the action sequence as well. Look, if you like the ending, that's perfectly fine. But to me, having Michael Burnham show up and save the day was completely unearned and unnecessary. I quite frankly would have liked it better if the hero of the episode was Stamets. He fixed that system. They get the systems online. They pull the Discovery out of the parasitic ice. And then when they get into orbit, they can run into Michael Burnham. That would have made more sense to me. Let another character save the effing day. That's not a horrible thing to do. If you're a writer, it's not a bad thing to have all your different characters shine at different times. Sci-Fi says, hello, how short is this briefing going to be? Oh, I don't know. I didn't have a set time. It's funny because I wanted to have Life with Matthew on like we've been doing before, but he had some stuff that he had to do, so he's unavailable. And I also invited Lore Reloaded to come on with me, but he has some stuff he had to do, so he's not available. So it's just me sitting here. Bird of Prey says, Jet Reno's best episode. I agree. I think it was her best episode, honestly. Legacy says, haven't watched season 3 yet, but I've been hesitant because how season 2 ended. They made season 2 end like how The Last Jedi ended. No hook to engage the viewer to want to see the next season. And says, continue. The bigger issue is that they left Discovery adrift by leaving it with no goals. DS9 was the Dominion War. Voyager, the goal of returning home. TNG, stale better because it was very cookie-cutter, repetitive, and the Enterprise stumbled because it didn't know what it was till season 3. Discovery, they have no way home, nowhere to go, and that's a big problem. That was, okay, well, I agree and disagree with you on some of this stuff. They don't have to have an overarching goal for the show to, granted, they're trying to do serialized storytelling, so they kind of do, but for Trek to work, you don't have to have an overarching goal. TOS never had an overarching goal. The animated series didn't have an overarching goal. TNG didn't have an overarching goal. And neither did Enterprise. And really, Deep Space Nine, the Dominion War, I think Deep Space Nine was fine before the Dominion War, and the Dominion War was not all of Deep Space Nine. It's just what people remember. And so, if you look at it, the vast majority of episodes of Deep Space Nine have nothing to do with the Dominion War. So I don't think having a goal is the problem. I think the problem, honestly, the biggest problem that season 3 has going against it is season 1 and 2 exist. Is that season 1 and 2 left such a bad taste in so many people's mouths that no matter what they do, people are going to have a difficult time with this. I didn't hate Michael Burnham in episode 1. I thought that Michael Burnham in episode 1 was the best that she's been. Problem is that I get it. There are a lot of people hating on it. Why? Because it's Michael Burnham. Because they already hate Michael Burnham. Because Michael Burnham is a horrible character, and I understand that. But the problem is that you could say the same thing about characters from other Trek shows in the past. If you look at Picard from season 1 of TNG and compare him to Picard from season 6 of TNG, those are two very different characters. Same with a lot, actually. Data, very different character later on when they kind of figured out what they wanted to do with him. A lot of characters, their first season, it's very different than what they end up being. And so if Michael Burnham continues to be the more emotive and interesting character, that will be a big improvement for the show. But if the writers are going to still continue to push Burnham into saving the day every single time, it's not going to help. Because I'm not interested in a Mary Sue show. I'm really not. I want to see a myriad of characters do their thing. I don't want to see either Michael Burnham save the day, or when she and when she's not on screen, how everybody talking about Michael Burnham. I'm just. Hey, Andrew, will this season of Discovery poison the well for Lower Decks and Strange Worlds? I don't know. I hope not. But we're only 2 episodes in. It's hard to say. Valor says, why can't they understand that Burnham is the worst thing for Discovery and want them to get rid of her? I don't know, Valor. I genuinely do not know. I really, really don't understand why the writers keep thinking that the answer to everything is Michael Burnham. So it confuses the heck out of me. Fed says, watch this blind drunk and still I could see the flaws from this miles away. First time I've seen this, Jet Reno reminds me a bit of Pulaski. In a way, yeah, I could see that Jet Reno could kind of remind someone of Pulaski. I think that there are some flaws in the logic of the writing and stuff. But I still think the biggest problem they're running into right now is trying to shake off old Discovery, and can the writers get past their obsession with having Michael Burnham be the hero all the time? Hey, Andrea, is a season of Discovery similar to Andromeda TV series? I've never seen Andromeda, so I cannot tell you that. I can only tell you that as of right now, the Federation is gone. At first, people thought it was just reduced, but it seems to be pretty much gone. There are people that still believe in the concept of the Federation, and there are still apparently Federation ships out there, but the Federation as a governmental organization seems to be long since gone. Fed says, Burnham was better when she was on the back foot with someone who doesn't bow down to her because she was Burnham. That's why she and Book worked in the previous episode. Exactly. And that's also why she and Spock worked in season 2 in some of their interactions. Cinnamon says, I was available. Sorry, Cinnamon. I didn't. I'm sorry. I just figured out. I didn't have everybody's. I was going to start sending messages to everybody. I'm sorry, Cinnabon. I agree. Jet Reno's best episode. Yeah, I think Jet Reno actually was funny in this episode. I think before when she would do her quips, they felt really forced. In this one, it was more funny. And I think part of it was like, being no stranger to back pain, when she was talking about her back pain, I could feel her on that. The Legacy says, oof, yeah, season 1, season 2. Season 1, I liked it. Season 2 was like 2 cruise ships colliding. Are you talking about... I'm not sure which show you're talking about. Have you seen the burn that is shown in the next episode yet? I haven't. I'm not looking at anything for what's coming. Positive Candor. I like to go in cold, so I don't know what's coming in the next episode. I want to experience it as it is intended. I know some people like knowing every detail ahead of time. I'm perfectly fine not knowing a darn thing about what's in the next episode till I watch it. And let's see. Sistras says, I will put my 2 cents in. While I know Discovery does not flow well storytelling-wise, I'm going to give it a chance. It's good. It's going good so far for me. I will say this, is that if this were season 1, like if we didn't have the... if we didn't have the baggage of season 1 and season 2, I think that this would be doing a lot better. In fact, I mean, all you'd really have to do is like, if you started this out with basically something going on where you have the Discovery, they're maybe ambushed by someone, big battle takes place, anomaly opens up, Burnham's on a shuttle or something, and then Discovery gets pulled in, and the shuttle gets pulled into this anomaly. Burnham ends up in the future, and that's all we know about them, right? We don't know, because we've already had now in this season, in the first episode, Burnham claiming to have saved everyone. And, of course, in the second episode, she saves the Discovery. So she has saved the entire universe, and she has saved her ship in the first 2 episodes. Let's see. Donnie says, no apologies needed. Well, I do that too much. But to be fair, having a character to be the sheer opposite, antagonistic beyond all reason, would also be a terrible fit for Burnham. Subtlety is required for something I doubt the writers... subtlety is required. Something I doubt of the writers. Yeah, I'm not saying that Burnham should be completely antagonistic. I'm not saying that she should be incompetent. Most Starfleet crews that we've seen, with the only really, and even in lower decks, it's even true there. Most of the time, the various people are competent in one thing or another. And in fact, most of them are expert at one thing or another. However, the problem is that Burnham is expert at everything. And not only is she an expert at everything, she ends up saving the day every single time. And it just gets tiring. And Alexander!
Muslim wife born in USSR is the best choice.
Good to see you, my friend. Hope you are doing well. I know that your career change has made it so you've been missing in action a lot of time, but always good to see you, my friend. And positive let's see, where is he? Oh, Legacy says, sorry, cruise ship analogy. Essentially, big ships move slow, but ship collisions are devastating. And was referencing how it was handled in the Section 31 arc. Cringe. Ah, gotcha. Positive Candor says, on the Ready Room, they showed about 30 seconds in the next episode, and the burn is part of what they show. Fair enough, but you know what? I don't watch the Ready Room. I don't watch any of the propaganda shows about it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that's what they are. I also don't read rumor mill stuff, and, that's part of the reason that I've kind of, gotten in trouble with the Phantom Menace a little bit, because of the fact that I'm done with the rumor mill. I'm done with, saying everything sucks just because it has Alex Kurtzman's name on it. But I'm also not going to shill it out and say that it's all awesome just because it's Star Trek. Max says, Star Trek is now Fart Trek due to Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Lower Decks, due to willful ignorance and pseudo-Star Trek people. Anti-Trekker. That's not at all what I said. But thank you, Max, I think. Darth Maul says, I enjoyed Star Trek Discovery so far. The other seasons were like pulling teeth while watching, and actually it looks like the writing, it actually looks like the writing's planned out. If you're saying that you're talking about this season you've liked so far, I do think the writing is better. I do think the cinematography is way better, and I think that the acting is actually taken up a notch. I think that on almost everything they've improved the show. The problem, though, is that they keep the one trap that they just can't seem to get away from is Michael Burnham is awesome. And I say that because that's like the entire point of season 1 is Michael Burnham is awesome. In season 2, it's like they spent a few episodes getting away from Michael Burnham is awesome, and so then at the end of the season, everybody had to line up on an apology tour so that everybody could say how sorry they were to Michael Burnham for not being Michael Burnham. And that was kind of grating. In this, they've done a pretty good job of showing Michael Burnham as a human character in episode 1 and showing the rest of the crew. And the thing is that notice when you show everybody except Michael Burnham, dang, it actually feels like a Star Trek show. And then you got to throw Michael Burnham in at the end because Michael Burnham is awesome. Let's see. I think the only way to save Star Trek Discovery is to get rid of Burnham and in the end return the timeline to what it was before. I would tend to agree with you. I would like to see them do some kind of timeline reset. Doubt it's going to happen, but I think that would be very helpful. I don't think they have to get rid of Burnham. But they, like, for example, if they kept her the way she was in episode 1 and they scaled back the she knows everything about everything crap, then I would be a lot better. The problem that I have, and this is where I'm nervous, just based on, and I know it is unfortunately hard to shake the stigma of season 1 and season 2 with this, but at the end we get the reveal that there was a 1-year time jump from episode 1 to episode 2. So when we see and that explains Burnham's braids, although newsflash, and any of my friends that are black know this already, your hair, if you are black, doesn't grow that fast in 1 year. Sorry, you don't go from a shaved head to dookie braids down to your butt in 1 year. Can't be done. All right, but that's a whole other thing. So if you that aside. So it's a year later, and so that means that Burnham has had a full year to learn everything about the future, so that now what's going to happen is she's going to be the expert on everything. And everybody else is going to be like, golly gee, we don't know what to do. And she'll be like, that's okay. I know all about everything now. Hey, let me show you how programmable matter works and all this stuff. That's what makes me nervous, is that if the 1-year time jump is just an excuse to make her perfect again. Brian says, hey, Antrager, Gene Roddenberry created Andromeda, which is about the crew of the Andromeda Ascendant setting out on a mission to rebuild the system's Commonwealth 300 years after its fall. Okay, well, then it's similar, I could see. Like I say, hold off on answering this until you're done discussing Discovery. Still need to watch the last 2 episodes, but I'm shocked at how well Lower Decks got its act together. Continued. The trailer badly framed the series, and the series premiere also betrayed it, but once it calmed down, it became good? Well, actually, I've said, and I don't know if you've seen my, me and Life with Matthew did reviews of all, live stream reviews of all the episodes of Lower Decks. Lower Decks, the first 3 episodes was a total troll. They were trying to play into the whole Mary Sue thing, and then they literally stabbed Mary Sue in the foot, which was a beautiful moment. And no, I thought Lower Decks is the best Star Trek we've gotten since the cancellation of Enterprise. So I would agree with what you said there. Valor says, when I say reset, that means getting rid of Star Trek Enterprise because it also breaks canon the same way Discovery does later on. On the first Starship Enterprise was the Ring Colony ship. Well, it depends on if you, because I know the only thing that's in canon is that the Ring ship, which I don't have it right here, but I do have the Eagle Moss of that. The Ring ship Enterprise is only canonized in Star Trek The Motion Picture as an image and in Star Trek Into Darkness as an Eagle Moss ship on an admiral's desk. And we know that ship was named Enterprise. That's all we really know about it. Doesn't matter. The NX-01 existing doesn't violate canon directly. You have some issues, but it's not that big a deal. I still like my triple timeline theory. I think that's the best way to explain it all. I know that some people love it, some people hate it, but that's how I think the only way you can really make it work. Weird as this may sound, the character Burnham in her entirety is wrong. The name, the skill set, the manner, it all feels out of place even after 3 years. Oh, I agree, Fed. And it's not Sonequa Martin Green's fault. It's just, she was a poorly constructed concept from the beginning. She's a Mary Sue character, which inherently makes her boring. The whole thing of a girl named Michael, the funny thing is there are women named Michael out there. It's rare, but, for some reason people like, breaking gender norms. And I think that's quite frankly stupid. Because you know what, if say, I'm going to break the mold because why should Michael be a masculine name? Why shouldn't it be? We have Michelle. Whatever. Bee's Nest says, Hail Trump. Not sure why. Cinnamon says, programmable hair extensions. That could be. If she has programmable hair extensions, I will forgive them that. But yeah, there's no way she grew her hair out in a year. Guy from Red Bank says, yes, and C. Okay. I wish Burnham was written at the same quality as Jadzia Dax. My God, her writing, her storyline, the actress, absolutely phenomenal. Also LGBTQ+, long before the term ever existed. Well, don't worry. We're getting a Trill, apparently, as a non-binary, so we'll see. Do you think Marion is a woman's name? I don't know, Sean. I'm not an expert on names. I'm just saying that Michael is a traditionally male name, and there's not a compelling reason to switch it. It's not like the name Michael is oppressive to women. It's just stupid to me. And Ensign Ricky throws in a couple of bucks. Thank you, my friend.
7/10. I liked it. Saru is still the man emo.
Well, Ensign Ricky, and I don't know if you heard me earlier, but I said that if it wasn't for the very last shot of the episode where Michael Burnham literally pops in out of nowhere and saves the day, that's the only thing she does in this episode is save the day. And if it wasn't for that, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10 as well. With that scene, I don't know. I'm struggling on that. Search for Marion Robert Morrison. Irrelevant. Nobody, you know what? Marion is one of those names that I could see going either way in modern context. Michael is not.
Everyone wants MCU Aunt May and Ked right now.
Alexander, I know you really want MCU Aunt May naked, but I don't think everyone wants that. I think just you do. And answer should have been Riker? Are you saying... I'm not sure what you mean there, Ensign Ricky. I'm very curious to throw... You got to tell me, what do you mean by that? And let's see. Donnie says 8 out of 10 Delta Shields for the Far From Home episode of Discovery. Legacy, the finale that shall not be named.
Should have been Riker.
Let's see. It says, I think Enterprise wasn't nearly as bad as people as suffered some backlash as New Trek. It wasn't what people were used to, and it toyed with existing canon. Well, actually, I think Enterprise got backlash after the fact, not so much during its original run. And that's something that it's a little bit of historical rewriting going on with Enterprise, because Enterprise, if you look at the ratings, actually did not tank Trek. Voyager had already done that. I think Enterprise, people that want to hate on Enterprise, well, Enterprise does have some continuity issues. They were trying to work towards fixing that with the temporal Cold War stuff, but they never got a chance to fix it. Love your uploads. Rarely get to watch live. Thanks for your passion. Thank you. Always appreciated the ego stroking. Medallion says, I too have issues with Miraculous Michael saving the day ending. It was practically a troll. Yeah, I really didn't like that. It should have been Riker that came to save them from the ice. Gotcha. Yes. Except that it's 600 years past Riker, so that wouldn't have worked. But I honestly think Ensign Ricky would have been better had they just had Stamets's work in the Jeffries tube, had gotten the ship online, they get out of the ice, then they get up into orbit, and then they say, oh no, ship's coming in, it looks like the big bad guys are here, okay, get weapons online, we got to be ready for this, and then it's Michael. I would have had no problem with it at all. Having her literally pull them out of the ice, I thought was a cheap move. And yeah, I think Medallion's right. It felt like a troll. It really felt like, yeah, you thought they were going to fix their own problems. Nope, Michael Burnham's got to fix it. Let's see. Valor says, it's not just the NX that broke canon. More or less everything in Enterprise broke canon. I refuse to watch it. Yes and no. I do have some problems with Enterprise.
If there are 7 of 9 in it, this is a masterpiece.
Well, Alexander, 7 of 9 was not in it, so I'm afraid you would not consider it a masterpiece. But it did have Captain Georgiou, or Commander Georgiou now? How did she become a commander? She was a captain. Anyway, Georgiou's in it. So you can like that. Anyway, but as far as the canon issues, Val, let me say this. The reason that I don't harp on Enterprise as much about their canonical problems, and they do have canonical problems to be sure, but that is because the show itself isn't a bad show. I can deal with it's the same thing like TNG has canonical problems, Deep Space Nine has canonical problems, Voyager has canonical problems. Every Star Trek, even the original series, has canonical problems within itself. That's not the problem. The problem is that the storytelling, if it's good, we can forgive all that. And with Discovery and Picard, they've really struggled. This season looks like it could be their first genuinely good season if they can get past the Michael Burnham saves everyone all the time part. If they can do that, the look and feel of it so far, I'm on board. I just don't want to see Michael Burnham save the day anymore. Can we please have Captain Saru kick some serious butt? And by the way, I gotta say this too about Saru. This is one of those moments that kind of pissed me off. They had a great opportunity to make Saru a complete badass and blew it, in my opinion. Even though they ended up doing a good job with it overall, when they were in the Mexican standoff situation in the bar, and the guy, the guy was drawing the weapon and threatening Saru, and he was doing all this stuff. Saru should have shot his spikes at him and ended the fight before it even started. But instead, then the fight breaks out. They're all running around, punch, and then Saru throws the spikes instinctively in the middle of the fight. Because at first I thought, I guess does he just not have the spikes anymore? You could only use it once. But no, he still has them. They showed him use it. It would have been such a badass moment if he's sitting there staring down Saru, and he's got the gun out, and Saru's staring back at him, telling him that he will not yield, and they're going back and forth, and then Saru's just like, okay, F you, and down. That would have been awesome, but they didn't do it. Beesna says, don't you think R2-D2 should have his own spin-off show? No, I do not. It wasn't until years later that I started watching Enterprise and ended up skipping through most of the episodes because how boring it was. I don't think it's boring. I just don't think, by today's standards, it's slower paced, but I don't think it's boring. Michael would have saved them anyway. She's already on the way. I just don't want it. I'm a bit worried about new Trek right now. We have Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Lower Decks. We have the upcoming Brave New Worlds and Prodigy and that Section 31 series. I'm worried that not only are they risking oversaturating the viewership, but badly diluting their talent, and they're running out of running seasons that are less half the length of a TNG era series. They desperately need to focus on 2, maybe 3 series and put the budgets towards those. I tend to agree. And P.S. I love Saru. I like Saru, actually. I think he's an interesting character. Almost all the characters on the show, except for Michael Burnham, are interesting characters. But First of all, I think that they should just be doing, honestly, forget about Picard season 2. That should not happen. I think Picard should have been a one-shot. Just let it be. Okay, he's robot Picard living with robot people, and just leave it at that. No more Picard. Right now, here's what I would do. I would focus on... If Discovery Season 3 improves it as much as I hope it does, you continue with Discovery, you continue with Lower Decks, and then you do forget about Section 31. I think that's a huge mistake. And then Brave New World. And that's it. That is it. As far as Prodigy, I know it's technically a kid's show. It'll be a different flair, so we'll see. But I think focus on Discovery, Lower Decks, and Strange New Worlds. That's it. Or Brave New World. Strange New Worlds. Whatever it is. And excuse me. So, bet me, I will be right back. So here's a little something, just for. Let's see if I can remember. Where is it? What number is it? I think it's this one. I hope you're watching, Alexander.
The board vessel's moving into range.
On screen.
Let's get lost in that magic place all alone now. Drink a fill from my fountain of love, wet your lips. I'm a man, I'm a teaser, I'm a man, well I'm a virgin, I'm a man, I'm a one-night stand, a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a germ, I'm a dream divine, make love together.
He's dead.
Just for you, Alexander. Just for you. All right, so now Valor was saying, if it wasn't for Viv, I wouldn't have suffered through Enterprise because she likes it. Well, I think Viv has better taste than you, Valor. Because I actually don't hate Enterprise, but I mean, I don't think it's the strongest show ever, but I don't hate it. Yeah, I think they ended Picard beautifully. My heartstrings still sore. Like I said about Discovery Season 3, no hook to continue. Well, we'll see what happens with Discovery Season 3. And thank you, Donnie, because I'm tight. Brave New Worlds, Peacock original series adaptation of the... Oh, that's right, yeah, but Strange New Worlds. I am stoked about Strange New Worlds. I am looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. What you call pain, I call foreplay. Yeah, that was a... Boy, there were some good lines in this one. You should redo this bit, but instead of Lord Reloaded, just have Michael Burnham speak. That's just mean. Me, no other, says, did you see the Romulan War fan film? You should do a review. I have not. And Donnie says, you're welcome. Okay. Picard was just awful. He started pretty decent, but ended a bunch of what the heck. Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, there were some things in the... that's why I say, as far as... I mean, I know some people liked it. Like, you know... I just read just now that, tugs on the heartstrings. I didn't think that Data needed closure or any of that. But I'm just saying, okay, let Picard, he's a robot Picard, let him live on the planets with robots. We don't need any more of that. Just let Picard be done. Discovery, if they continue to improve the show, fine, we continue forward with Discovery. Strange New Worlds, I'm hoping, is a really good show. And then Lower Decks, I've enjoyed. So, yeah. Fed says, after some consideration, Picard sort of felt like some rabid horde ran roughshod over the legacy of Picard. Well, you know, it's funny because I'm working on a video about Picard. Not the series, but about the character of Picard. Well, not actually, it's about Data, but Picard is part of it. And I was rewatching Measure of a Man. And one of the biggest problems with Picard as a series is that how did Picard go from the advocate for Data that was fearful that one day we would build a race of disposable people to do the dirty work to the Admiral who is pissed off because Starfleet won't use a race of disposable people to do his dirty work? How did that happen? How did Picard go 180 on all that? But yeah. Super Black Post, have you ever tried VR games like Star Trek Bridge Crew? I played Star Trek Bridge Crew, but I do not have a VR headset, so I have to play it the old-fashioned way, and it's not as fun that way, from what I understand. The Voyager crew got off easy. Imagine what would happen if it was Bird of Prey 5 seeing instead of Lore. Well, yeah, then that would have been much worse. Sean says, bring back Hugh. Well, Hugh is dead. Because, you know, why not? Bird of Prey 5 hates Star Trek Discovery 3. Well, of course he does, but Bird of Prey 5 hates everybody and everything. I mean, let's be real. He's just a hate monster. Legacy says, yeah, Strange New World sounds amazing. Pike's actor is probably my favorite new character up to this point in New Trek, although Pike's old, the actor is new. Yes, Anson Mount's Pike I thought was pretty solid. I actually liked Ethan Peck's version of Spock. I thought he was much better than Zachary Quinto. So I'm looking forward to Strange New Worlds because, I mean, Rebecca Romijn as number one, you know, we didn't really see her do much, but she's a fine actress and she could definitely pull off that character. So I'm looking forward to it. Ensign Ricky says, imagine a strange twist of events. Georgiou makes it back to the mirror universe to find the United Federation planets is in perfect shape and running great. Yeah. If they do something like that, Ensign, Valor says, I never liked Picard, and to this day, I wish they got rid of him and replaced him with Riker as a much better character. You know, it's funny, Valor. Back when Best of Both Worlds first aired, I was on Team Riker. I wanted Picard to be gone and Riker to be captain of the Enterprise. But we would not have gotten some great moments in Trek history if that had happened. Because, let's be real, I mean, you know, episodes like The Inner Light, episodes like Chain of Command, without Picard would not have worked. I get 2 Star Trek games on my smartphones, Fleet Command and Timelines. I've yet to play a Star Trek game that I really, really loved, unfortunately. Nobody's really developed one that I really care about. And Bird of Prey 5 is you know, hurting because me no other is hating on it. You gotta say, Bird of Prey, you're a hate monster. That's all there is to it. Get over it. And still, they say that Star Trek Discovery is a hodgehog of buzzwords and chic things in modern day animated via prayers to a hipster god. You missed one of my messages. I'm sorry, Fed. That was not intentional. I'm trying to keep up, and my sinuses are killing me. That's why, man, I apologize. This week, it's been rough for me. Legacy is good call. I like that Spock actor. Thank you, my friend. Me says, sound like Entrager died with Lore and Bird of Prey 5. Okay. And let's see. Sci-Fi says, tell me, like Star Wars, does Star Trek have nerds and fans that study different eras? For example, in Star Wars, we have nerds that read and study latter half of the Old Republic.
So weird. Please tell not Control. Isn't that why they went through the portal?
You know, I don't know why Dirtmere, however you say your name, Implant Girl. I don't know why she was acting so strangely. You know, they didn't really, because it seemed like something impacted her immediately upon getting through the wormhole. And so if it's Control, if they're going to try to bring back Control, that's a bad idea. But I'm scared that is exactly what they're doing. They already did it with Robot Chick. Now they're going to do it with her. But we'll see. I don't know. But sci-fi, to answer your question, it's not so much different eras as much as different shows. Like, there are Trekkies and Trekkers that, like, for example, myself, I'm an original series guy. So, you know, when it comes to trivia stuff, and even a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, I know more about the original series and the first 6 films than anything else in Trek, right? And that's because that's the era that I love, and part of it is because that's the era I grew up in. There are other people that are absolute TNG fans, and so they love TNG, the TNG films, stuff like that. Then you have people that are the hardcore Deep Space Nine fans. You don't have as many, but there are a few people out there that are hardcore Voyager or Enterprise fans. They just aren't as common. And then you have the newer group of people that I heard Lore Reloaded refer to as We Are Starfleet. That's kind of an answer to the Phantom Menace, which are fans of Generation 3 Trek. Now, when I say Generation 3 Trek, that's something that I officially coined, and so I get a quarter if you ever use the term, is that Generation 1 Trek is the original series through the first 6 films. Generation 2 Trek is TNG through Enterprise, and Generation 3 is 2009 onward. There are fans of Generation 3 Trek. I'm just not really one of them. Brian says, hey, Trigger, what gods in any Trek series do you consider the most powerful? Prophets, Metrons, etc. As far as from what we've seen, I would say the Organians are probably the most powerful entities we have seen. Keep in mind, the Organians were able to simultaneously immobilize all of Starfleet and the entire Klingon Defense Force, and they were able to project themselves on both Earth and Kronos simultaneously and stop them from going to war. I don't think we've seen any other being do anything quite at that level. We've had threats of things at that level, but only the Organians we have seen really pull it off. Giorgio says she doesn't like bureaucracy. She likes the idea of dimension hopping. So she might enter another dimension. She might enter another is dimension section 31. We'll see. I don't like the idea. I don't want to see a dimension hopping Trek. Era with Darth Bane's books and the Darth Plagueis books. You see, I don't know that much about that stuff, but is her implant powered by lithium? I don't believe so, but maybe. Richie says, long live us TOS Trekkies. Thank you. Yes. Live at the Love Shack. There are only 5 Live at the Love Shack says there are only 5 films. Well, Star Trek 5 is I mean, you got to have that. That's the bad one that makes all the others look better. My initial introduction to Star Trek was Season 3 of Next Generation, followed by reruns of the original series. My reintroduction, the 2009 movie reboot. That's funny because and for a lot of people in the generation after mine, that's pretty common. It's most people that are younger than me first came into Trek during TNG. Now you have the really young people, the people that are just now coming of age, that their introduction to Trek is like the Discovery era, and I kind of feel bad for them. They don't know what great Trek is. Legacy says, I have a question about the Discovery and its design choices. Why on earth did they model the interior of as this giant hollow space? Bugs the heck out of me. Bugs me slightly more that a bazillion combat shuttles in the Season 2's finale. I don't think Starfleet would allow so many officers to be treated like Warhammer for 40K. Well, here's the funny thing about all that. Because they actually, so on Discovery, as of this episode, there are 88 people, right? That's actually in the dialogue for episode 2. There are 88 people on Discovery. 88. So they have multiple times more shuttles than they have people. Guardsmen are treated better. I don't know anything about Warhammer, so no comment. What would have been cool is if Discovery ended up 900 years in the future, but in the mirror universe. No! I don't want any more mirror universe crap. That sucked enough. Young kids have Lower Decks, maybe Nickelodeon cartoon tracks too. Well, I don't think Lower Decks is for young kids. I mean, it's for a younger crowd, but I don't think it's for kids, obviously. And it's not appropriate for kids. The original Star Trek series, my introduction to William Shatner. Well, of course, William Shatner is the man. You'll see, if you don't have your little disability, is you're having a hard time read, can't spell word description, and disability, you would like or love the Star Wars EU books. Oh, yeah. I hate being dyslexic. I truly do, Sci-Fi Sith, because there are a lot of great books out there. And the books on tape version, I've listened to a few of them from Star Wars. Like I did Tarkin, which I thought was an interesting book. But it's a matter of having the time. Because if I'm going to listen to a book on tape, honestly, I would want to listen to the entire book on tape in one sitting. Prodigy is the upcoming animated computer-generated series. Yes, and that one is actually for kids. So we'll see what that one looks like. But anyway, I am going to wrap it up there, guys. So you guys get the idea. I still think that the show shows more potential than Discovery has ever shown before. But they haven't quite sold it to me yet. If they can get past the Michael Burnham has to save everybody all the time, then maybe they'll have something good. Until tomorrow night, when we have the Untitled Show about nerdy stuff, talking about something, I have no idea what. Take care, everybody. And remember, Bird of Prey 5 is a hate monger. And, of course, the credits don't play. Because why would the credits play for me? That would just be too freaking easy. So now I gotta try to fix the credits. Let's see. Let's go here and come on.
You son of a bitch, anti-tracker!
The
You son of a bitch, anti-tracker! You son of a bitch, anti-tracker! You son of a bitch, anti-tracker! Tracker! You son of a bitch, anti-tracker! Son of a